I grew up in rural southern West Virginia in a little place called Big Chimney, and I teach the Appalachian literature and culture class here. So Appalachia is still very close to my heart, and that's home. You know, I've lived in Michigan for 23 years. I lived in Kansas for 18 years before that, but West Virginia's home. And Laura did this small little bird, like this. And I also grew up in a very religious household, and so a lot of, I think, you know, people ask me often why I think I became a poet, and I said I grew up with music, most of which was religious music, but I also grew up with many oral readings of the King James Version of the Bible, and those cadences and the metaphor and the storytelling, and I think that was an important part of my becoming a poet. And I also grew up in the woods, and I grew up as an only child until I was 14. So there was a lot of time for me to think about things and to be out in the natural world and to hear music. My mother sang in a gospel trio. And, anyway, so the myth of the mustard seed, you all know about. Many of you know about that from your religious traditions, I think. But this is called Appalachian mustard seed. And the little epigraph is the line from Emily Dickinson. The Pope is a thing with feathers. Probably one of her more famous ones. So here's the poem. So tiny it might be thought to be a bug, an odd beetle, or a tuft of cottonwood taken by the wind. Mountain folk call it the mustard bird. They say it appears when you need to believe. In what? It never matters. The need takes you to a lone space. The dark barn, the path through the woods, the room with one window. Here you might offer the crumb of a prayer. You might say, if only, if only, if only. When you grow silent, you will feel a flutter. If you are lucky, you will feel claws become your roots. And I tried to do it, you know, in sort of Emily Dickinson style, and you'll see dashes in there and maybe some capital letters where you might not expect them, because that was sort of my, and she was a poet of faith too, so that was kind of my homage to Emily Dickinson.